Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Premier has recently staged a number of photo ops in an attempt to build the perception that her government is working towards building a positive relationship with all Indigenous peoples in Alberta. Another attempt was made on October 14th when the Premier held another photo op, this time to announce the Premier's Advisory Committee on the Economy. To the Premier, given that this committee is indeed to focus on diversification, sustainability and resiliency of the Alberta economy, why did you not appoint any members of Alberta's Aboriginal communities to this particular advisory committee?
Honourable Premier.
I want to thank the member for that question, and he certainly raises a very, very good point. A lot of the reason is because we are doing two things at the same time. We've begun some very substantive consultation processes with Indigenous leaders and First Nations leaders across the province, while at the same time focusing on our plan to do economic diversification, stimulation and job creation. But it's absolutely true that once we've had a chance to meet a bit more with First Nations leaders, that there should be a role for them on that committee, and I'm taking it under advisement because it's a very good point.
To the Premier again, given that you've publicly stated your support for the Truth and Reconciliation Commission report and the UN Charter on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, and given that all advisory committees that will provide influential advice to your government have fulsome representation, I thank you in advance for correcting the oversight on this committee, but I'm wondering in the future, on a go-forward basis, will you appoint at least one of the many talented Aboriginal leaders to other committees going forward?
Well, indeed, Mr. Speaker, that's again a very good point. One of the things we did once we were talking about the implementation of the United Nations Declaration of the Rights of Indigenous People was I asked our Minister of Aboriginal Affairs, Minister right here, to work with every other ministry to figure out where we can engage more effectively and substantively with Indigenous leaders across the province. So that will be happening. The recently announced Health Board by the Ministry of Health they've also allowed for additional appointments from the community and from First Nations, and we will continue to do that.